book lovers. I'm Haley.
And I'm McKaylee. Welcome to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist,
The official podcast for the Facebook group, All Things Book Related.
We're two besties who are here to share our love for unforgettable characters, unpredictable storylines, and the books we just can't put down.
From our all-time favorites to the latest releases, we're bringing you deep dives, hot takes, and maybe a little friendly disagreement.
So grab your favorite read and let's get ready for some bookish fun.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We are so glad that you're here with us today. We have got a super fun episode planned for you guys. I am so excited for this one.
Yes, that's right. It's time for a Crescent City series breakdown.
So if you haven't read these books, you may want to skip out on this episode. Join us next week because this episode is going to be filled with spoilers.
And because we love to cause chaos, we're adding a few hypothetical questions to the mix.
It's going to be emotional, dramatic, and probably a little messy, but hey, we're ready for it. Let's settle in. This is going to be a fun one.
Yes, and we can't wait for you guys to hear our thoughts. But to start us off, we're going to jump right into a Crescent City quiz to test Haley's knowledge.
You can take this quiz, guys. You can follow us on our Instagram or on our Facebook page. You can follow along with me.
Yes. All right. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So, what is Bryce Quinlan's job at the beginning of House of Earth and Blood? Is it a bartender, art gallery assistant, searcher for the Fae, or private investigator?
She is an art gallery assistant.
Yes! Okay. Which house does Hunt Athalar belong to? Sky and Breath, Flame and Shadow, Many Waters, or Earth and Blood?
Guys, I'm like looking behind me. I'm like, which one is it? He is a part of House of Sky and Breath.
Yes! Who is Bryce's best friend and fire sprite? Lahaba, Rune, Balin, or Danica?
Lahaba.
Yes. It's been a minute since we've read the series. Like, not too long, but it's been a few months for sure.
Yeah.
What is the name of the powerful ancient being Bryce is revealed to be? Is it a demigod, a fallen angel, a wolf shifter, or starborn?
She is a starborn.
Yes. And finally, what is the name of the main villainous group in Crescent City? The Asteri, the Wild Hunt, the Dark Court, or the Crows?
The Asteri.
Yay, 100%.
That was so fun. Before we get into the book of what today's episode is about, we want to talk about Onyx Storm. We know this has nothing to do with Crescent City, so you may want to skip ahead if you haven't read Fourth Wing, but we want to get into it for just a couple minutes. So by the time this episode airs, Onyx Storm will be out for probably like a week and a half. I've probably already read it by then. I've probably already cried about it by then.
We'll be watching the episode thinking, oh, they had no idea. Like, they're so innocent right now. But yeah, and you had mentioned that in this book, Rebecca Yarros said that we will all be crying and in tears.
Yep.
So that scares me so much. And it makes me so anxious. I'm going to buy the book, but I know I'm going to listen to it, probably. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'll try to read it. I don't know. I just listen to it faster than I can read it. And I don't know.
I have a hard time reading fantasy books on audio, so I'm gonna have to read it. I think Fourth Wing and Iron Flame were just so difficult. I don't think I could have listened to those.
Yeah.
But
I was lucky just because I had graphic audio for at least Fourth Wing. So I don't know. I really like that. But I get it. I understand why it might be, difficult. There's a lot happening, and it's hard to remember versus listening versus reading. You have so much more time to soak it all in when you're reading. But listening, it's like, you better pick up on it right now because we're still going. I understand that. But yeah, I'm very excited. I plan to go stand outside of Target before it opens. I'm going to be one of those people who is just waiting for those doors to unlock. I'm going to rush in, hopefully get my hands on a copy. Yeah, the roads are supposed to be icy that day. I'm in College Station, Texas, and our university at A&M has canceled classes already for Tuesday. My boyfriend's, or fiance, he's not my boyfriend, he's a teacher. His school has been canceled. So we plan to have a very icy roads day that day. And since Texans are not used to driving on icy roads, they canceled these, work days, whatever. Anyways, I'm planning on going and getting there somehow. So you'll catch me there.
I am ordering mine on Target. You can when you get on the Target app, it says that it's available to order for pickup at 2 a.m. Central Time where we are. So I've got an alarm set already for the 21st at 2 a.m. I'm waking up. I'm going to have my Target app ready. I'm going to order it and just fingers crossed that by the time I get off of work that it's going to be available for pickup. I'm hoping that before they open the store, they pull all the books for pickup. I don't know how it works, so we'll see. I'm hoping I do.
I read online that a lot of the time the employees will come in before the stores open and like start because people order deliveries like really early too, and stuff like that.
I wonder if I could get it delivered to the house.
Maybe
I
you
didn't
should
think about that. I think if I'm gonna do it, I didn't even think about that. Maybe I
play
should have
with
it delivered.
Play with the app and see like what things it'll have available for delivery.
That might be better than pickup. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. If there's an option for them to deliver it to my house, I'm gonna have them deliver.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah. I think I'll do what you're doing. At least schedule for pickup or delivery, and then also go just to make sure I get my hands on one because I would just be so sad if they didn't have it in store or couldn't deliver it, but I'll grab an extra in case you need one for the future.
Michaela and I have been waiting for Onyx Storm for a year and a half. Fourth Wing was the first book we read for our book club when we first met each other, and we've just been waiting and waiting for Onyx Storm to come out. So there's a girl on YouTube that did like an animated recap video of Fourth Wing, so I watched that, and then I watched a couple different podcasts for Iron Flame. I remember Fourth Wing, but Iron Flame had a lot going on. I thought about rereading it, but I'm just like, I can't reread. Like, I can't reread those right now.
Oh my god. How did I not realize the height difference between Violet and Liam? Violet? What? I know, right? Violet is like, what, 5'4"? And Liam is 6 feet under.
Oh my god! I was like, dang, how tall is he? I don't remember him being like so tall. Dang, McKaylee! Oh my gosh!
I know. I was like, what? So anyways, that was dark. But yes, I want to get my hands on the Target special edition. If not, I'll just buy the audio in the meantime, probably. I don't know. So we'll figure it out. I'm gonna read it on Tuesday for sure, but on the 21st of January for those. I guess everyone listening, because this episode will be out way after. We are so excited. So anyways,
all right, well, I think it's time to get into our breakdown. Do you want to hit us with a summary?
Right. So for Crescent City, Bryce Quinlan, a half-human, half-fae party girl, is shattered when a brutal demon murders her closest friends. Years later, still grieving, she's thrust into an investigation with Hunt Athalar, a brooding fallen angel, to uncover the truth behind the killings. As they dig deeper into Crescent City's secrets, Bryce and Hunt confront dangerous conspiracies, uncover ancient powers, and form an unbreakable bond. Amid the city's political war, Bryce must embrace her heritage and strength to protect the people she loves.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, what is your favorite book in this series?
Oh, House of Sky and Breath. That's going to be the second one. That is definitely my favorite book in the series. I loved everything from House of Earth and Blood. It took everything from that book and just made it even better. I especially loved getting to learn more about Rune. Rune is my favorite person ever. I loved getting to see how his character evolved, and there were so many plot twists in Sky and Breath that I just did not expect at all.
Yeah, I would say my favorite is House of Earth and Blood. That first book, it still sits with me. The ending, I was in tears. I was listening to it in my car, just crying. It was so sad. I think I had just gotten my lashes done too, my lash extensions. I was like, I can't cry. Like driving home from my lash appointment. But yeah, I just think House of Earth and Blood has so much character development. I do think a lot happened at the beginning. I listened to audio, so it was easier for me to like keep going versus I think if I had been reading it, I was like, oh, this is kind of slow. I think I would have thought that. But when the action did pick up and all these things started happening, I thought what the heck? And originally, I was not excited for this series because it's kind of modern. I wasn't really into like modern books yet, like just coming back into reading fantasy, mythical worlds that take place in like medieval times. That's what I want to read. And then House of Earth and Blood was this shift for me. I was like, we're kind of like modern, this like Zootopia now. Like,
especially after reading ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. Crescent City is like night and day. It's totally different. Whenever I first read Earth and Blood, I think I texted McKaylee and I was like, dude, they have drugs here. They have bars here. They're at a club right now. What? They have cell phones? What is happening?
Yeah, it was very, very different. I enjoyed that first book, I think, more than the other two. Not that the other two were bad, but I just feel like so much was happening, and I don't know if I followed all of it to a T, but I just loved that first book. But we also asked you guys, our followers, what your favorite book in the series was, and we will go ahead and take a look at these results. All right, so it looks like 43% of you guys said House of Earth and Blood was your favorite. And then we had a tie for House of Flame and Shadow and House of Sky and Breath. That was 29% for both of those. So I'm the majority. House of Earth and Blood.
House of Earth and Blood, I mean, I loved it. It was so good. But the first, like, 50 pages, I think I told McKaylee, I have no idea what is happening. Like, it is so slow just reading it, being thrust into this new world. I was just so confused. You barely got to know Danica, Bryce's best friend, and then, like, a chapter later she dies. I was like, what is happening right now? What's going on?
Yeah, a lot happened.
You had to pick 2 favorite characters from this series. Who would it be?
Yeah, for me, I just love the like little banter between Lahaba and Bryce. And so I would have to make those two my favorites. I just think Bryce is, and I think I've talked about it before in some other episodes, Bryce is just so dynamic as a character. She's like tough and all this stuff. She has attitude, but I do think her vulnerability and like growth throughout the story make her super relatable. Almost not quite in a Nesta way. I think Nesta was harder to like as a character. But Bryce, she loves fun. She's very sassy, and I just think her loyalty and the bond she shares with Lahaba, and Lahaba being just this burst of energy and heart. I just love how they both bring a sense of humor and lightness with each other, and they're just fierce friends until the end.
I love Lahaba. I also love Bryce. Also, she wasn't probably my favorite character. There's probably another one that was better, but she is so relatable, and I also love the fact that there is more inclusivity whenever it comes to the Crescent City series, because Bryce is described as this curvier girl, and that was so refreshing to see. I've talked about it so much, but I will talk about it forever because it's so refreshing to see that in a super popular fantasy series. Because normally it's just some skinny little girl.
It's Barbie.
Yep.
Like, again.
If I had to pick 2, it would Lahaba also, but also Rune. Rune is just, love him so much. Lahaba has so much bravery, and at the end of Earth and Blood, she has this beautiful act of selflessness that just broke her heart. She's so loyal to Bryce, and she just made it, her loyalty really made her a standout character for me. As for Rune, I love getting to explore his layers, being the Valbarian prince, I think that's how you pronounce it, and watching him sort of navigate his responsibilities while also staying true to himself. I also loved like his party boy aspect, which was so crazy to me after reading, like I said, Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. It was so refreshing. Well, maybe not refreshing, but it was nice to see him doing drugs and like drinking. I love it so much.
Yeah, when Rune was first introduced, I kind of was hating on him. Not hating, but he kind of gave me the ick. And I think it was because the way his hair is described. I just did not like his haircut. Whatever I'm envisioning it, I don't like it. This long, kind of half shaved.
Okay, that's not how I picture him in my mind.
No, I don't like that. Which, I mean, who cares what I like? But for me, in my head, you look different. So,
same.
But yeah, what about, okay, let's talk about House of Flame and Shadow. Did it disappoint, or did we expect more, or did we like it? Like,
this is sort of a controversial topic. I've seen people be super divided, but I think that Michaela and I sort of have the same idea.
yeah.
It didn't really disappoint me. I don't want to say that it disappointed me. I had so many theories going into it, about the crossovers and expectations that I had, and I was super excited to see how things would play out. But at the end of the book, when I finished it, I was like, nothing really truly happened. The pacing really dragged, and it just didn't deliver the build-up that I was expecting after reading House of Sky and Breath, where it ended off with Rhysand saying, "Hello, Bryce Quinlan, I am Rhysand," or whatever it was. It left me feeling frustrated, and it just made me want more. House of Flame and Shadow is my lowest rated Sarah J. Maas book,
Oh my god.
which, I mean, because all of the rest are so much better. There's so much that could have happened, but nothing happened.
I know. I agree. It just didn't live up to the expectations that many of us had. And I think the crossover between ACOTAR and Crescent City at the beginning just had so much potential. And I was just really hoping for like more interaction between the two worlds. It was just kind of a place for Bryce to just, okay, hey mom, hide here, bye. That's all it felt to me, because that's all I really remember. But after, the initial moment, of House of Flame and Shadow, I just felt like the crossover was really dropped, and we just didn't get to dive deeper into the connection or development between the two series that we were really anticipating. And I just felt like it was kind of a missed opportunity, especially considering how excited all these fans were for all of these possibilities. And instead, it just like leaned more heavily into setting up future plot points, and it just really left me wanting more of the crossover and stronger plot overall. I don't know. I think it needed more fan service. Did you watch the Spider-Man movie with all three Spider-Men?
Yes.
Yes. That was fan service, and that's what I want. Like, please give it to me. I want it.
And also the way Flame and Shadow ended with Bryce dismantling the Fae sort of government, I would say. She started dismantling everything, and I'm like, okay, she did this, now what? What's gonna happen next? And she keeps talking about how she doesn't want to be in this government position. She doesn't want this thrust upon her. And I'm like, okay, why did you dismantle everything then? What are you gonna do next? I mean, it's gonna be on your shoulders now because everyone is expecting it from you.
Yeah.
And the last chapter also felt a little childish to me. I don't know if you remember, but she was talking about, oh, there's these flying horses and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little too childish for me after having this huge buildup of this whole army and wanting so many things to happen. I just was so disappointed.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, her ponies. Her
little ponies.
Pony thing.
Yeah. Well, speaking about being disappointed about the crossover, how do you feel about the crossover potential between Crescent City and Sarah J. Maas's other universes?
Yeah, so I think it's still super exciting, and I hope she sees what the fans had to say about House of Flame and Shadow, and I hope she makes something better out of it. She's like, oh, this is what they wanted. Okay. So maybe a few more books down the line. I don't think she would do it immediately because she just did it in House of Flame and Shadow. So I hope to see it again. On one hand, the idea of bringing characters from like ACOTAR and Throne of Glass into the Crescent City world, I think it just opens up like a lot of amazing possibilities. And I just imagine we talked about Aelin being in Crescent City last episode. It was Aelin and Bryce, and how cool it would be if they teamed up, or Rhys interacting with Hunt, which we kind of saw that. But I just like the idea of the dynamics between all these characters and how their worlds are so different. We discussed, are they from different timelines? We don't know how it's all lining up because how is one so much more advanced than the other? And I feel like because House of Flame and Shadow just happened, I will say I am a little scared of it being forced or out of place if she were to bring it up. What about you? Tell me your...
There is so much potential for a crossover between Crescent City and her other worlds, like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. ACOTAR and Throne of Glass both have so much going on where we left off in both of the last books. In Kingdom of Ash, where everything was wrapped up, it's still got a lot going on, needing to know how the world there is now. And ACOTAR, the last book of Silver Flames, same thing. Everything's kind of wrapped up, but still there is potential for more things to happen. So much going on. Like I said, with all the different characters and magic systems, it feels like there's really an endless room for connections and new adventures. We'll get into our theories here in a couple minutes. I would love to, like you said, be a Spider-Man thing where all of them are like looking at each other and they all meet up, whether it's just a big battle or it's just some sort of unexpected alliances. There's so much to be explored between all three series, and it's interesting to see how Sarah will do the next ACOTAR book and do the next Crescent City book as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then coming off of that, let's go ahead and get into those Crescent City theories. What are some theories that you have?
So, when Lahaba is going to fight off and protect Bryce, she says, "I am not afraid," when sacrificing herself to save Bryce from Micah. We know that Aelin and Selena also said, "I am not afraid" often, and Aelin's power is fire. So it makes you think it makes you think and wonder, is Lahaba a descendant? Maybe it's kind of for reach because she is this spirit, but it does make you think about, how does she know the quote, "I am not afraid," or was it just a coincidence? I don't think so, because like I said, she is fire and that directly aligns with Aelin. So who knows?
Yeah, what are the odds? That's so crazy. I didn't catch that, but that's so true. Well,
what do you think? What's yours?
I do think that there's like this theory of that Hunt's past is like far darker than we've been told. Like his past is pretty messed up, and now we've seen like all his connections like in these later books to like being what was it, the son of
one of the demons in
yeah. I want to know more. We just learned about this. So some people kind of believe that he might be involved with the Asteri in the past, or that his true identity could be something far more important to the story, and like something like more godlike too. Like perhaps he's even connected to the origins of the universe itself. So what if he's a being like Amarin, or you know, or something, and now he's been cast out? Like we just learned in these later books that he's the son of this demon, and now he's this fallen angel just kind of chilling in the world like Amarin. Amarin's just this fae chilling.
That's really good theory. I have not thought about that. That is crazy. It makes you think.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like no one thinks about him too much. He's just this hot guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can be overlooked. Oh, do you have another?
So there is a theory that Rhys's sister from ACOTAR is actually Rune's mother in Crescent City. We know that when Bryce meets Rhysand in House of Flame and Shadow, she thinks that Rhysand is Rune because they look so much alike. This would connect the two series even more closely, suggesting that there is, you know, that shared family lineage and even more powers to be shared among Rhysand and among Rune. If this is true, it would explain, you know, some of Rune's power and his connection to the Night Court Fae. I think that this is super interesting. It makes you think, because I thought about it, you know, especially right when Bryce saw Rhysand and she was like, Rune? She was speaking her language. I was like, oh my god, Rhysand does look like Rune. They look exactly alike.
I forgot about that she confused him for Rune. Obviously, they're really closely related or something. Yeah. They're related, part of the same Starborn, whatever it was. I believe it.
It's crazy.
I believe it. Yeah, so with Rune, I think he might have a bigger role to play in the story's future, which like, we were just talking. Possibly even like being a major key to ending the Asteri's reign, given his connection to the heavens and his complex family dynamics. I think he'll have a greater purpose tied to the fate of the world. But also, a huge theory is that the rift is connected to some larger interdimensional force, and then Bryce will play a role in closing it or just opening it up to something far more dangerous given the rift's significance, and it might be a catalyst for huge changes in the series. I have no idea where the series is going after this book, and any of these theories will work almost. I feel like it's totally possible. What about you?
My last theory is that the Fenrir family in Crescent City is actually descended from Fenris Moonbeam, which is the member of Aelin's little inner circle in Throne of Glass. He is known for his wolf-like abilities and fierce loyalty, which may have left descendants who carried on his legacy into another world. The way that both characters are kind of described with their wolf-like abilities, and this could be just a coincidence, it makes you think that they're related, and also their names are just so similar.
Yeah.
It just makes you think.
No, you're so good at coming up with theories. How? What in the world? How is she coming up with it? She's just so smart. She's like thinking about everything. I just read and wait for the next book.
Yeah.
But I will say, I remember in A Court of Thorns and Roses, not so much a theory, but something that happened to me and I was angry was I was like, wait, I can't remember why they have masks on in A Court of Thorns and Roses. And that's kind of at the start. And I Googled it and I spoiled like the whole Amarantha thing. And I was like so mad. I'm never Googling anything ever again. That was my lesson in learning not to Google stuff and just keep reading and hope you just haven't skipped over the answer yet.
See, whenever I read that part in ACOTAR that they had masks on, I did not think about the characters with masks from then on. I was like, nah, they're just normal.
Yeah.
They don't look like
you
that.
Just forget they have the masks at all.
Until the end.
So, Rune Dannon, he's been popular so far with us. He has a unique dynamic with Bryce. How does his role impact the story?
Rune and Bryce being siblings adds such a dynamic depth, like such a depth to their little sibling dynamic. Their relationship, once we get into House of Earth and Blood, is so strained, but it grows into something much stronger as we progress into the other books and they learn to sort of trust each other. Rune is always there for Bryce, which I love about him, even whenever he's dealing with his own struggles, you know, being a Starborn Fae and having to deal with his father. Their bond really makes the story a lot more emotional, and I just love how they support each other.
Yeah, as her older brother, he's one of the few people who truly understands her, and their bond adds a lot of emotional depth to the story, and he's just a source of stability and protection for her, which helps Bryce process her past and grow. And what I just really love about his character development is that he goes from feeling burdened by his royal responsibilities into stepping into his own power and purpose, just really separating himself from that. But I just also think that their relationship also creates great tension. As a prince, Rune is tied to the politics of the Fey world, which complicates Bryce's journey, especially as all these secrets start to come to light, and it just makes their interactions feel very layered, and especially when their priorities or paths diverge. And plus, I think there's just so much more to Rune's story and his connections to the heavens and his potential role in the larger conflict with the Asteri. And it just makes me excited to see how his character evolves. He's just got a lot of untapped potential, and I'm just definitely curious to see how he'll play like a bigger part into the future of the series.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that. You went all out. That was so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, going back sort of to the setting of it being an urban fantasy, what do you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I think the setting is like it's modern. That's weird. But I do think it's kind of refreshing after leaning into it and learning to embrace it. I do think, unlike the other high fantasy worlds in ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, this Crescent City, it just blends magic with a modern city atmosphere, of course, and it just creates this unique backdrop where magical creatures live alongside humans, and it just adds so much layer of history, politics, intrigue, and the city feels so alive and just learns to blend all this magic with contemporary normal human like issues that we would deal with, and it just really grounds the world and makes it a lot more relatable, even though it's definitely Zootopia. But I do think it's like a fun shift from Maas's usual settings, and it just brings something new and exciting to urban fantasy. But what about you? What do you think?
Totally agree. Having it set in an urban fantasy like Crescent City, it makes it so much more relatable. I loved how Crescent City had phones and they had a nightlife and they did all these cool things. Oh, this is so fun. I wish I was there right now. But I also loved how she mixed all these different fantasy creatures. There were shifters and vampires and fae and angels. and she put them all together into more of a contemporary world. It made everything just feel so much more exciting and so fresh.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
If you could join one house, which would it be and why?
This is so hard because all 4 of them are cool. If y'all want a little recap on what the 4 are, so it is House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, Flame and Shadow, and then Many Waters. I would have to pick Sky and Breath because in that house it's the Fays and the angels. So this just sounds like I would have so much fun.
Yeah, if I had to pick, it would definitely between that one and House of Many Waters.
Oh yeah.
But I chose Many Waters just because there's just something so captivating about the connection to water, and I just want to be a mermaid. Like,
right?
Just make me a mermaid, please. I'm glad we get to learn a lot more about them. And was it Flame and Shadow?
Yeah.
Water. They're on the boats. Yeah, everything about them. So I really like that. But I think that would be a perfect fit for me. I don't mind being a mermaid as long as I'm not one of the weird sea monsters. So as long as it's a pretty mermaid.
Well, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode of Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We hope that you guys enjoyed hearing our thoughts about our Crescent City breakdown. We would love to hear what you thought about this episode, so just send us a message or comment on our socials.
Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting us. If you're interested in being a guest on our podcast, check out our Instagram or Facebook page at Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. There's a sign-up form in our link tree. From our link tree, you can also visit our website and sign up for our email newsletter. And also, guys, we are looking into accepting sponsorships for the podcast. So if you are interested in getting your small bookish business out there or whatever it is, please let us know. We're open to hearing anything and working with you just to get you on the podcast. Whatever you want us to advertise, it'll stay on our episodes for years to come, because once that's posted, it's posted. So let us know. Reach out.
Yes, I love it. We will have an official statement about it. But guys, if you're interested, follow me on Instagram. It's at Haley's.books.
And you can follow me on Instagram at McKaylee
Join us for our next episode where we will be discussing indie bookstores with a special guest. We are so excited and can't wait.
You can expect a podcast episode from us every Thursday. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.